Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Short and Sweet.
Hello.
He's short. I'm sweet.
Oh, he's sweet.
I'm over this way. Yeah.
Apologies,
I've had quite a busy day, so you've caught me. I'm at the outdoor cinema at the minute watching Lion King. It's great fun, but I won't spoil it for you. What have you been up to, Ben?
Just been really busy today, mate. Had made sure I got out for my walk, but not as busy as you. You've had a busier day than me today, for sure.
I have a busy day. I'm on session 4 out of 5 today. I'm off to South Florida next, but hey, I thought I've got commitment. So Blimey, we thought tonight go on.
I was just going to say, you've got to manage to get a flight over to there tonight, haven't you? It's going to be
it's not a problem. I'm racking up the air miles, honestly. Tonight we're going to be looking at Google Drawing, and we're going to take you through various bits of it each. It was called Drawing the Year to a Close because obviously I'm great at dad jokes, and we wanted something linked to drawing. But actually, I honestly believe Google Drawing is massively underrated and underappreciated, and it's got lots and lots of capabilities. So we're going to dive straight in with Google Drawing Basics. Then we're going to look at, with Ben, creating digital badges using drawings, and posters and graphics. And then we're also going to look at how we can play around with green screens using Google Drawings as well. So we're not going to cover absolutely everything, but hopefully it'll give you some ideas on the things that you might want to take a look at yourself. So let's get started. And welcome to everybody who's joining us this evening from the States, from the UK, from Argentina. Fantastic to see everybody here. So I'm just going to bring my screen in. No, I'm not. There we go. Wrong one. And there we go. Right. So I'm here in Google Drive, and I'm just going to go straight into Google Drawings. Now, the difference with Google Drawings is if you go up to your waffle and you scroll down here, you might struggle to find Google Drawings because it doesn't appear readily. And if you go over here to New, you might struggle to find Google Drawings because it doesn't appear readily. But if you go to More, guess what? You get more. And there's Google Drawings. It's amazing, right?
It is.
Wow, that's a really, really low res. Bear with me a second. Let's just bring that back to something resembling normality. There we go.
More out there, isn't it?
More like it. So, within Google Drawings, just like in Gmail, in Slides, in Docs, in Sheets, and everywhere else, you've still got your sidebar. So you've still got your calendar there, you've still got Keep there, and you've still got your task menu there. So you can pop those open at any time you like and see them sitting there. So that is your Google Keep. And as you can see, we've not made any notes yet because we love to wing it because we were well taught by a young lady called Stephanie Howe. So we're going to start with Google Drawings, and it's very, very similar to slides, but the difference being is it's one canvas and you've got a blank canvas to begin with, okay? Just like anything, there's nothing there in terms of a title until you name it. So I'm going to call this one SAS1 because short and sweet, first one we're looking at, okay? And all we're going to do to start off with is build ourselves a bit of a picture, okay? Really, really simple to do. I'm going to leave the background as transparent at the moment. I could, if I wanted to, like we can with slides, go up to File, and I could come down to Page Setup, and I could change the setup exactly the same way as we do in slides, and I can increase the size, and I can go by pixels, points, centimeters, or inches. And obviously, the bigger we go, the better resolution the image is going to be. So this at the moment is 25.4 by 19.05. Okay, all I'm going to do is just move that decimal point over one. Okay, and it's suddenly going to make everything that much bigger, but it doesn't look any different here. It looks the same, but it's now in higher res. And all I'm going to do is start bringing in some images. So like we can do with normal Google slides, we can insert images, upload from the computer, search the web, drive, photos, URL and camera, and we can insert shapes and tables and charts and diagrams and all of those sorts of things really, really easily. So I'm going to start off by inserting a shape. And actually, before I do that, let me just move that out of the way for a second and put that over there. There we go. So all I'm going to do to start off with is add a shape. And I'm going to do this really, really crudely. Okay. So here we've got shapes. Drawings is still on the old menu. If you've used Google Slides recently, you will notice that the shapes are now much more split out onto lines, and so are the colors. Drawings is still waiting for that update, but I'm going to start with a nice shape that I would like, and I'm going to start with a square. Okay, now if I start drawing, so one of the things I can do is, instead of doing it like that, delete this. That was a good sign. Okay, bear with me, because the other one is going to crash. So let me just mute that. Apologies for the Okay, there we go. We're back. That's not to worry. Fantastic. So let's get rid of that one. Right. So now I've got a square there, but it's not actually a square. Okay, it's slightly off square, which is slightly annoying. So I'm going to delete it. And instead, I'm going to go back to insert and image and shape. And I'm going to go to the square. But this time, I'm going to hold down the shift button as I stretch. And what you'll notice is it stays in perspective as a square. So as long as I hold the shift button, it maintains its integrity as a square. Okay, and then I let it go, and now I know I've definitely got a square. The same thing happens if I do that with a circle. So if I just try and draw a circle, I get all sorts of weird things. But if I do it by holding down the shift button when I do it, and there's two places you can get these from. There we go. If I hold shift, it guarantees it remains as a circle for me. So that's a really cool little tick. trip. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that a head. I told you it was going to be basic. All right. So there's a head and there's a body. All right. No neck on this guy. But we can change the colors on this really easily by just going to fill color and choosing any of those colors and changing the color of the face. Okay. If we want to change and have a little bit of a border around the edge, we can choose whether we want that or not. We can change the thickness of our border and have it really thick. We can go massively thick if we want. But if we don't want the border, we can change it and change it the same color. So we've got our face there. Okay. We've then got a body, and we might want him to have a nice suit on. Okay. So we've got a nice black shoulders there, and we might want to add as well some arms. Now we can use any shapes we like, but I'm going to use this one, and I'm just going to drag it. There we go. Everybody recognizes that as an arm, right?
It sort of reminds me of Minecraft. Yeah,
quite similar. Okay. No, I don't know. I don't even know what Minecraft is, if I'm honest.
I've got to say, I don't use it, but I've seen stuff online from Rachel's Badge EdTech stuff. So that's where I've seen that.
There we go. So I've got one arm. Brilliant. Napoleon's here. But what we're going to do is I want a second arm, but I don't want to mess around up there. I want to make sure that arm's the same size as the other one really easily. So I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it. So I've got a second arm. And all I then need to do is to right click and go to order and rotate. And I'm going to flip horizontally, and it spins my arm around. And then I'll put that one over that side. Now I've got two arms.
That's crazy.
So he's no longer armless. Okay. I can add legs in there really easily. Again, I can go to shape, and I can just choose something that I think is going to be useful. So I'm going to go with a nice kilt. All right. Now, I'm not going to be adventurous enough to go for a full tartan, but we've got there a nice blue, and I can add in lines if I want. So I can choose what line I want. So I could just start, oops, put that back, put my kilt back. I can choose the line. There we go.
You've gone into drag again there. It seems to be defaulting back to drag. That's strange.
It does, doesn't it? There we go. It does. It's not liking that line at the minute. Bear with me. Line.
And it's still on. It's still selected the arm. Oh, this always happens in a demo, guys.
Isn't it always? Right, line. Here's a line. Look. Okay. Now I'm getting lines. Fantastic. So I've got a line. I want it to be a nice yellow colour. I want it to be a little bit bolder because I want it to stand out, and I want it to be more upright. So I'm going to take that and just drop it down here, and just stretch it slightly. And we can see that's a very, very fine line. So I can click on that, and I can go even bolder with it. Okay. And then I might decide that I want to duplicate that. So I can copy it, and I can paste it and have a second version and run that alongside. And then I could do the same. But I might want one to go the other way. If I want to group anything, in a minute, this is all separate little images. Okay. And if I move one thing, you end up like a headless chicken. So what I might decide to do is say, right, I want all of these in together so they all move together. So all I need to do is click on one, and I hold down Shift and Command, and then I can click on all of the other aspects, select them individually. There we go. Right click and group, and that pulls them all together, and they're now one image. So now what I can do is resize and move that image around. So I've got my lovely little legless Scotsman here, and I can make him any size I like and just play around with him. And obviously I can add pictures and all that kind of thing onto the front. If I wanted to bring a face in, I could say, right, I'm going to insert an image from my computer. No, I'm not. I don't have a face image on there. So instead, I'm going to go insert, search the web, and I'd like a face with a transparent background. Don't really mind what one it is. See what comes up. Here we go. Just lots of, here we go. I'm going to grab this guy and just drag him in. And this may or may not work brilliantly. There we go. Fantastic. So I'm going to get rid of that face, actually. If I try and get rid of the face, it's still part of that whole body. So I need to ungroup to get rid of it. Okay, so I can now Now I've ungrouped, I can get rid of that face and move in this one. It's a very large face, so we might bring it down a little bit. Okay, it's almost as big as Stuart's face, for anyone who knows Stuart. Okay, then I do my Command Shift again, and I just grab everything.
This is probably my favourite things to use in, actually, just to make it so much simpler when moving things around. That's one of my favourite things.
You just drag it all around, and it stays, you know, proportionate to what you started with. Okay, so really useful, particularly if you then want to use it on a second slide as well. Really handy. Okay, so that's that side of things. We've now got an image in there as a picture, and that's just coming from using insert. But we can also insert arrows, call-outs, equations. We can add in tables really easily. We can add in charts directly from sheets if we want to. And we can add in diagrams. So we've got all sorts of useful diagrams like timelines, processes, cycles if you're trying to put together logos and things like that. And it will suggest lots of different options for you. So nice little cyclical kind of things. And you can choose whether you want 3 steps, 4 steps, or a 5-step process. And you can choose what colors you want and so on. So you can design logos really, really easily this way. Okay. Just going to move my thing out of the way because it's buzzing a lot. So there we go. We've got options for loads of different diagrams there. Okay. And we've also got word art and line. So exactly the same as Drive, but as slides, but you've got lots of various different scribbles as well. So this is great. The scribble tool is fantastic because you can sign a piece of work. Okay. And it's done that in white, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it has.
Okay. Oh, hello, it's going all funny tonight.
You really have upset drawing this evening, haven't you, Darren?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make the background white. That might make life easier. There we go. So I'm going to take the line. I'm going to take the scribble tool, and I'm just going to
more difficult you think on a trackpad, isn't it?
Oh, it's terrible. And that's disappearing for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why, because it doesn't normally do that. So we'll bear that in mind for later on, and we'll try that again in a little bit. You can add a text box if you want. So it's exactly the same as slides. And obviously you can upload by URL and from your drive and everything else. You can still comment. But what I love about slides as well, oh, blimey, it's taking its time. Look, now thinking about it. You don't have to have everything on the canvas. So, for example, if you wanted to organize a drag and drop activity, you could quite easily take a shape, draw it over here, add a piece of text in, and, for example, have this one as being Anthano. Tiny text. There we go, because we've gone massive. Let's go like 300 on our text. Okay, good. We've got Manthano. I could then create several of those, and then over here, insert from the web. I can bring in, for example, an orange, drag that in. I can bring in an apple and drag that in. They notice I chose the real apple, not that I'm biased. And I might bring in a pear and drag that in. And I can resize those however I want and have the students do like a match-up activity where they have to take the word and move it to go with the right image really easily, okay? And if you put all of these into the background, if you don't want the students to move the images, which they can at the moment, is a really neat trick, okay? So let me just hide that for a moment. Let's move Manthano. So if you don't want them to move the images, all you need to do, grab a shape, grab a square, over the top, cover the whole thing, come here, make it transparent, and now all they can do is click on the whole thing. They can't click and move those individual. They can only move the one in front of it. And then you can drag this, make sure they're all ordered to the front, and they can drag those in front of them to the right places. So you can make your own little drag and drop exercises really, really easily. Okay? Straightforward, simple. The good thing as well is you can download all of these as PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs, and scalable vectors as well. You can email them as attachments, the same as you normally do. You can even publish them to the web, and you can print them really easily. And you can change language as well if you want to. So there's lots of different options, loads of things you can do. And if you want to make sure you're getting things bang on, you can add guides the same as you can in slides. So if I had a vertical guide and I want to make sure that my oranges and my pears are lined up, I can just move that and say, right, okay, I need to make sure, let's get rid of that off the top now. I want that orange and that pear to be exactly lined up, and I can just play around with it until I'm absolutely happy that it's in line. And then I might want to do the same with the apple. I might want it to be in line there, so I can just choose to just fine tune that in line with those guides. And then all I need to do with view is turn the guides off, and you can see exactly what you've got. Okay, so that's a very, very basic introduction. We've also got up here the option to link objects. You can hyperlink everything, okay, which is really useful. You've still got accessibility options, and you've still got explore and everything else. The last thing I'm going to show before we move on to Ben is if I wanted to make that a link, all I need to do is to click on the link there, and it might go to apple.com, for example, and apply that, and that now becomes a clickable link. So if I download that as a PDF and open it up, and this might be a link to a document, could be linked to a website, could be linked to a folder, anything you like. You click on the apple, it takes you to whatever you've hyperlinked it to. So really, really cool. Okay.
That's really nice. I like that. There's some stuff I actually learned myself in there, Darren. As you know, I'm not an avid user of this. I have used it enough, but not to the extent you haven't been creative like that, creating people. So I've definitely taken some stuff away there as well.
Yeah, there's one more thing I'm going to say as well, though, Ben. Because I've created that now, because it's just to answer a question. If I now download that as a JPEG, okay?
Yeah.
I could, if I wanted to, completely clear this slide. And if I wanted to, I could say, go to background, okay? And you'll see we've got custom. We haven't got any options here like we normally have with slides, okay? So with slides, you could change the background, all right? But in drawings, you can't as such. You can change the color and you can do custom, but what you can't do is add a picture in the background, because unlike slides, it hasn't got that master option, okay? So you can't do exactly the same thing as you do with slides. So just to make that clear for people, okay? You can kind of play around with this, but if you wanted to do it with having that image in the background, you'd have to go into slides and do that. If I just do that really quickly, just to show people, in slides, right click, change background. Here I've got the option choose image. And that's where I can upload that file that I've just downloaded and make that the background.
I'll have to apologise to Marcia. I just told her you could do it, so I guess you've just wrapped that up. But apologies to Marcia there for saying that.
Well, the thing is, you can design it in drawings, and then you can bring it into slides. But the good thing is, now you've got that in drawings, you can tweak that because you've still got your edit history.
Yeah,
you know, you've still got all of that you can go back to at any point. So you can tweak it slightly and reuse it for another section. That's now in the background, and there's nothing I can do with that other than just click around on it and put other stuff over the top of it. Okay, over to you, Ben.
Thanks, Darren. Just a quick question before we go any further. There's a question here from Simon, just asking if you can make a copy for each student in Google Classroom, the same as you can for slides and docs. Just wondering if you know whether you could.
So if you do the classic URL change and do /copy instead of edit after the /, just copy that, open up another tab, drop it in, boom. Okay, and the same thing works with template preview as well. And if you use the template preview version, obviously what you then get is the advantage that they can see what the document is. I don't particularly like the copy option because they can't see it. Like SS1 could be anything. But if you take template preview and do the same thing, what they then get is a look at what it is before they decide whether they want to download it or not.
Blimey,
Okay?
I didn't
And then say, right, use the template. Click use the template, and they'll get the blank one that we've got. Okay?
I didn't even know. That's well, I'm learning so much, and it's meant to be our session. We're learning with everyone else here by the looks of it.
We're lifelong learners, Ben. You know that.
I love
especially
it.
as long as your life's been.
Review, so hold duck out there.
Yeah, a little bit. Right. Do you want the screen, Ben?
Yeah, I'll drop my drop my screen in now. So
okay.
So I'm going to have a quick look at some things in drawings as well. So I'm actually going to open up the same document that we were just working on here with Darren. So SAS1. So what I'm actually going to do, Darren, if you don't mind, I'm actually just going to clear your stuff off.
I've got revision history.
That's it. We've got revision history to go back, so it's it should be all good. I'll just wait for it to load. It's got stuck, I think. But what I'm going to take you through in the next few minutes is having a look at how you can gamify your classrooms using Google Drawings. Now, if you don't know what gamifying your classroom is, it's a really, really cool thing. I've only actually learned about it recently. I've done a few bits virtually this year using gamifying as well. So what is gamifying? So what it is, in effect, is we're going to create badges for our students. So in effect, we're going to set out sort of a timeline or a certain set of goals we want our students to achieve. And for each little milestone they reach, they receive a badge. Now, the great thing about this is that it gives students the incentive to achieve all the badges. Got to get them all, sort of thing. Like Pokemon, you've got to get them all. So, as educators, we're on a bit of a badge war, especially during COVID. I know me and Darren have been going at it quite a lot with some of these badges. So why not get the students involved as well? So Google Drawings is the ideal place to be doing that. And you can host all these badges maybe in a Google Docs in like a table form, which I'll try and show you a little bit later on next. How easy it is to create a badge here in Google Drawings. So we've already set up our page here, like Darren did for us just a little while ago, and using the shapes and text and images, we can actually create these badges which we can download. So like our short and sweet logo that you would have seen advertised, that's created here in Drawings. So that's just I'll just pull it up actually just to show you if that's all right. As you can see, I'm in Google Drawings here, and this is actually created in Google Drawings, as you can see. So you can see all the individual elements of our Bitmojis, the text, and all that.
My bit's really visible there. The sweet bit jumps down nicely.
Yeah, you're standing out, and I'm just irrelevant by the looks of it. I've just disappeared.
I didn't like to say, but
Well, I wasn't gonna mention anything. I know what you really think, Darren.
Yeah.
But you can see here, this was created in Drawings, and I just want to show you stuff So it's here a music badge for my students. Very basic, you can see there's not a lot on there. But having the incentive for students to earn this badge and show it off to their friends and put it in their emails and stuff as well has really helped. It's really given them a big push. And I've actually also created my department logos in here as well. Things like for my IT department and for my music department as well. And they're really simple to create. So we're going to create one now all together and look at how we do that. So I'm just going to hop back into that account, onto our blank canvas, as you can see here. I'm just going to get rid of my background. I'd like it to be transparent again. So I'll right click, go to background and hit transparent. So I can see there's a little line there we didn't get rid of. So that's good that I went back into transparency mode there. So you guys can make a badge in any form you want. It doesn't, you can pick whatever shape you want to pick. If you want to use a triangle, square, any of the other shapes we've got in here, feel free to use those. This is really personal. You can, do whatever you want to do. For me, I'm going to start off with, let's see, let's pick an interesting shape, shall we? Let's pick a, what should we go for? Should we go for a diamond? Let's go with a diamond. So I'm gonna put in a diamond here. So I'm gonna drag it out, holding my shift key to make sure it's symmetrical. You know, that's another really cool tip I learned today. So thanks for that, Darren. And I'm going to make sure it's in the center of my page. So I see these little red grid lines appear to make sure it's in the middle there. So I know that shape is now in the middle of my screen. Now, you don't have to have this the whole size. You don't have to have it as, you know, as big as the screen is. You can do if you want to. I'm going to make it a little bigger, I think, and then recenter. But I'm going to use a diamond as my shape. So as you can see here, I've just got the basic gradient on this. I'm gonna spice it up a little bit and go for one of these blues. I quite like blue, so we'll go over a gradient blue just like this, and I think that's quite nice actually. So I'm going to stick with that. And if you want to, again, as Darren was talking about earlier, we can add border colors. So as default, it turns to black. But if you want to, you can have it transparent, or actually, I think I might keep it black. Just make the point value a little bit bigger, just so you can see it's on the outside there. It's not showing me right now.
It's because we're on a massive template, Ben.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll just ignore that for the time being then. Okay. So
yeah, I'll shrink it down for you.
Cheers.
Just put those decimal points back in.
All right.
Like I did earlier on, and that will take us back to a kind of a standard size. And now those different point images will be different. They'll be more obvious.
Okay, let me back up again. Oh, there you go. Brilliant. So you can see now I've got the black line on the outside. So you can have this any color that you want. I'm just going to stay with black for the purpose of this. Now, we're also going to add some text in here. And for the purpose of this demo, I think we'll create a... what badge should we create? A short and sweet hero badge. Should we go with that?
Short and sweet hero? Yeah.
Short and sweet hero. So we'll go with that. So
yeah. Number one fan. Number one fan.
One fan. I like it.
Number one fan.
What I'm going to do is I need to get our Bitmojis. I'm going to copy those over in just a minute from the other template. But I'm just going to drop in some text here. So I'll drag out a text box as usual. I'm just going to go with
broke up a little bit there, Ben.
A lot bigger. Oh, my typical connection there. I can only apologise, but I know it will go again in just a minute. So if you don't hear me, yeah, Darren will take over. But I'm just going to make this text a bit bigger. Change the colour to white. Center that across. So we've got all the same text formatting tools you see in Google Docs and all that sort of cool stuff here as well. So just worth noting. Not quite going to fit there unless that bit's a bit smaller. Actually, I don't like having that. I want to have it actually number. Don't like that. Make it a little bit. Apologies for this. So we're going to go with number one fan, something like this. All right, I know it's not the best, but I'm going to go with something like this. So what I'll do, once I've got my text in place, and I may change it around in a minute to make it look better. But what I can do is I can actually add in images now. So the same as what Darren did earlier, we've got the option to insert images from the computer, from the web, and from Drive. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to go over to my other account and just nick those Bitmojis for a minute because I don't have those readily available, and paste them directly into our badge here. Oh, and it's going to give me an error image now, isn't it? Oh, Darren's adding a fan in for us. There we go.
Is that not what you meant?
Not quite.
But that's what I like about this. You know, we can collaborate on it, and I can go and find images, park them at the side, and then you can decide whether you want them or not. Because they're not actually on the template; they're just here at the side. You can play around with them. So you could say to me, "You go and find 6 or 7 different images, and then we'll choose the best one between us." So really useful.
It's not gonna let me copy these across either. It's not going well for me here, is it?
There's been an issue recently with copying images across from different accounts, actually. So I think it's a widespread problem. Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of people finding it difficult. So
right, okay, well that makes me feel a little bit better about the situation, but doesn't help me in this instance. So I'm just going to I'll just grab my Bitmoji for now, Darren. Sorry, I'm going to have to leave you out of this one.
Oh.
You can add yours from your side in just a minute. So I'm going to use this Bitmoji here. Actually, no, I'm going to go with this one here. So I'll save that and just upload. Computer, and I'll free to chuck yours in, Darren, whilst I'm messing around with one. So what we can do, I'm actually going to make this into a square. I think it's going to be a bit easier to use if it's a square. There we go. So I'm going to put my Bitmoji in here, and Darren will add his in just a short minute, and we can move these around in any way that we want to, like we can with normal images. Now, what's really great about this is we can download these as images, and we can upload these into, say, like I was talking about earlier, like Google Doc that all students have access to. And we can grey out all the badges that they don't have yet, and the ones they do have, we can give them access to. So it just gives them a little bit of an incentive to complete all the tasks that you're them to do. And I found it's worked really well on things like Google Forms. If we're setting a Google form for the students, if they've got to do a certain task, completing the task will then give them access to a badge that they download at the end, and they can show it off in Google Classroom. They can show it off to their friends. And that's really had for me personally, has had quite an uptake in the engagement. And I don't know if you've used anything similar to this, Darren, as well. But, you know, students tend, if they're getting something out of it, physically, they tend to engage more, I find. So, you know, doing something as simple as this, creating yourself a set of, I don't know, 5 or 6 badges for a topic, for example, like I did with that music industry badge, or I did with the department badge as an example as well. So loads of different things you can do there. And what I'm actually going to do here, I just want to make sure I add in our logo here. Actually, I don't want to lose out on our logo actually. So I'm just going to add that. Put it at the top, and we could even issue some of these out to people, Darren. Actually, once we get a final design, I'm not going to finalise it tonight because it's not going to be perfect. But I'm sure we can get a badge sorted out. Maybe start issuing some out. Maybe
we could do that.
So watch this space for that, guys. As I say, I want to make sure it's a good badge rather than something I've just chucked together here just to show you how it works. So, you know, once you've got your badge sorted, something you like, feel free to go over to File and download as I personally use a PNG, but you can do JPEG, PDF, or scalable vector if you wish as well. And that will just appear in your downloads on your computer like normal. So then you can upload to Drive, your emails, Google Forms, and all the cool stuff as well. So that's one real good way I like to use drawings to gamify my class.
I'll tell you what I do with them as well, Ben. Once I've downloaded them, I upload them into Google Keep.
Go on.
So if I just chuck my screen on again.
Oh, yeah.
And just take yours off for a second. So if I just, where are we? Just share my screen. There we go. So that's my one. So here's this is obviously my screen at the moment. If I come over here to my Google Keep, I've got here, I've just uploaded it there into my Google Keep. And so if I'm working on marking some work with a student, say for example, it's a Google slide or whatever, I can just drag it over and Google Keep will allow me to just drag it in. So you can literally just stamp their work with a range of badges. Now I downloaded that one as a larger image, so it's still got the white outline. If I've done it as a PNG, then it would have had a clear background. You can then resize it. You don't even have to have it on the work. You can sit it next to the work, so the students can still see they've won the badge. But you just drag them in from your Keep, and it's really, really quick and easy. Okay.
You could do some really cool things there. Like you could do your, maybe a badge for good work, and maybe you know, another badge to say, you know, this bit could be improved, for example, if you're doing it on a particular topic. You know, you can use these as almost like your stamps used in the classroom to mark the students' work, like feedback given, all that sort of cool stuff as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I think if I show you really quickly in my main account, open up my Keep. And if I just scroll down, there we go. There's some of my badges that I use. Only very crude, Pro, Pet Cameo, you know, things like that. Digital Superstar, Ace Communicator, Imaginative Learner, and you can just drag them into the student's work really, really easily. Okay.
Cool. And one thing I would say about badges whilst we're here as well, obviously not like the example I've made here today. As I say, I'd like to make sure it's tidied up and a little bit more simplistic, actually. If you're going to make a badge, try and keep it simplistic. Don't try and crowd too much in there like I've done in this example typically. But, you know, keeping them simplistic, like Darren's ones he showed you there, and the things like that music industry badge with just a school logo on, for example. You know, that's a really nice way to make an effective badge. Simplicity is always the best way, I think.
Definitely. Okay.
Right. So you're going to take us through the next bit then, Darren, are you?
Yeah, we're going to have a look at creating posters and graphics. Okay, we'll kind of collaborate on this a little bit. So I'm just going to make a second file here from drawings. Now notice as well, I should have pointed that out, that you do have the option as well for templates. So if you go to drawings templates, you've got any that you create for your own, but you've also got general, and all of these that normally you would see in Word also appear here. So you could potentially make a drawing out of them, and that way it becomes almost like your headed paper and things like that. But we're just going to use this one. I'm going to shut our SAS one, and I'm going to call this one SAS poster. Okay. Now, at the moment, we've got this as a landscape, so I want to change that. And I'd like this one to be an A3 size poster. So all I need to do really is just to find out the A3 size, okay, in inches. And A3 would be, oh, there we go, 297 by 420 millimeters, or 29.7 by 42. Okay, so we're going to go 29.7 by 42 and apply, and it gives us an A3 canvas now. Okay, so this is all April, all part of G Suite. It's all standard within there. Okay, and you can embed it into docs and into shot slides and everything else. So all we're going to do is we're going to create a poster for this. So what I normally like to do with a poster is have things a little bit rounded off. So I might, for example, include here just a header banner or something like that with a little rounded edge. I'd choose a nice color. Now, I might want to choose a particular color. So I could use the eyedropper extension if I wanted to find exact colors, but I'm not too worried tonight. So I'm going to go with this green as being our background. I'm just going to click on there and edit the text. And I'm just going to do short and sweet. And that's really nice and small. Little tip, we haven't yet got the incremental sides that we've got in slides on this. But if you do Control Shift and the greater than, whoops, there we go. Oh, sorry, Command Shift. There we go. It's gone tiny. There we go. Let's do it that way. Let's just get it so I can see it again. There we go. Upload that a bit. What is going on? That's very odd. What's doing there? Let's get rid of that.
You've broken it tonight. You're doing a Stephanie Howe. You're breaking it.
My text doesn't like it, does it? Let's try again. That's better. There we go. So, it's probably overworked, to be fair.
Like my hamsters.
I'm just going to add that. I'm going to put that in white. I've got the option to format options here, so I can add a little drop shadow to that if I'd like, just to make it pop out a little bit. So I can change the transparency and the angle of the distance of the shadow if I want to. So it's not just sitting flat on the page. It's got a little kind of shadow around it now. So it's not just kind of like 2D. And I might want to add an image in there. Now, I can just go and search, like we've said before, and search the image. and I could look, for example, for this one, Google Drawings. Okay, so this one particularly about Google Drawings, we could just say, right, we'll grab that, we'll drop it in, we can move it around, we can angle it however we want, we can size it up. If I wanted to apply the same format, if I click on this one and use the paint roller, I can then click on that one and get the same effect without having to worry about doing anything. Okay, now this one's got a little edge around it, so I actually don't like it. But that paint roller gives you the option to copy any effect without having to do it manually. Okay, nice. So we've got our short and sweet, and we've got our image in there. I might want to give it a background color, and like you've done before, Ben, I might want a gradient on that. So maybe something like this gold. That looks quite nice. All right. But I might want an icon in there or something like that, or an image. So I'm just going to go first of all and collect an image. So I'm going to go search the web. And if we use search the web here, everything is labeled for reuse. And I want a picture of an artist, for example. Okay. And I quite like that one, actually, that's jumped out at me straight away. So I'm just going to double click it and it drops it in for me where it thinks I might want it. Now, I don't want it there because I don't want it quite as big. I want it maybe a little bit smaller. And I've still got my red lines to help me line things up. So I'd like it sort of center of the page. What I can now do, I've got the option to crop. So if I didn't want any of the image in, I can click on the crop tool and I can kind of make it fit a little bit better by cropping out parts of it. Or if I wanted to crop the artist out altogether, I could take this side and crop it over, okay, and just have, for example, the arm working, or I can leave it as it is. So the crop tool is great, but what's even better is the little tiny arrow next to it, because that gives you the mask option. And if you click on shapes, you can then mask that shape into any of these particular layouts. So I'm going to choose that one, and you can see it's automatically rounded off those edges for me. I click on it, then I can play around with the depth of a border. I can add a different color to that border if I want to. I can make it a green one and so on, or I can make it a white one to make it stand out. So I can really make those things punchier and look a little bit nicer. I could then bring in another image if I wanted to and overlay it. So let's go with paint and drag that in. So I could double click or I could drag, and I might want it to slightly overlap. So I can shrink it down a little bit. And again, I can go up to this masking tool and choose a mask for it. This one, I think I'd quite like it to be, there we go, slightly like that. I can add my edges to it like I've done before and make it really clean. But you can see here, if I zoom that in, this particular line is bigger than this line. So if I want to make sure I use the same format, click on this one, paint roller, click on that one, and it copies that formatting over. All right, so it's really straightforward from that point of view. But the next bit I absolutely love, okay? And shout out to Tony Vincent for highlighting this today. There's a website called Undraw, okay? So you can browse to find kind of icons and things that you might want to use. And the beauty of it is you can choose any color you like for the download. So this is really cool. So we can search, and I might say, for example, art, and see what it turns up. So we've got art thinking, an artist, an art lover. We've got sharing articles and things like that. Online art, monster art. I quite like that one, but I don't like that color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a different hex key. And this is where it gets handy. All right, I'm going to go to the web store. I'm going to look for eyedropper. Okay. Here we go. And there's lots of different ones, but personally, I really like this one. So I'm going to add that to my Chrome. I've got it on all my other accounts. And it pops up in the corner. Okay, I'm just going to pin it there so it stays there. I can close that now, and close that, and close that. Or I could say, actually, I want to keep one of those colors. Maybe not. I think I'd like my icon to be green like this. So I can click on my eyedropper tool, pick color from the web page, click on the color I want, and it's automatically found the hex code for me. I copy that. Now I can go over to illustrations, copy that hex code in. Now I've got my item that I want, and I can download a PNG. All right.
That is cool. I'm gonna go and do that myself now. I really like that.
Yeah, this is a new one on me today, but I love it. Okay. And then
that web undraw, was it?
Undraw, yeah. And then we can drag it in, and again we can mask. So if I wanted that to be in a triangle, I can do that. If I wanted it to be in a call out, in an explosion, in a star, anything I like, I can shape it however I want to fit what I want to do. So you can kind of create anything you like with this, and you can have any template you like, and you can download again as a PDF or as a JPEG or as a PNG or as a scalable vector. But the beauty is you can collaborate on it until you're absolutely happy with it. And again, if you're sending it out as a digital poster, you can hyperlink it. So if you wanted to, you could say, okay, this image here, I'm going to hyperlink that to, for example, twitter.com/sweet short and, okay, hyperlink it there, apply it, go to download it as a PDF, open it. If you've sent this out in your newsletter or anything like that, click here, bang, it takes you straight to the right site. So really great way of being able to work with kind of posters and interactive media, particularly at the moment where maybe people aren't coming into school or you're not in a position to send things home with students. Send them home and make them as interactive as you like. Make it a click here for more information button, or a click there to sign up button, or a question mark for more information. All right.
That's amazing. That is, you know, I've just posted the link in the chat for everyone for the undraw. That's
really good.
Amazing. I'm going to use that myself. And the masking tools, you know, they're so powerful. You know, I use them in slides and things. I tend to use slides a lot for you know, posters and newsletter style things. But just in
the thing about drawings, is you can go to any size. So for example, you know, like the big pop-up banners that stand 2 meters tall. I've designed all of those on drawings. So a lot of people think you've got to use something like Photoshop to be able to do those. Absolutely not. All of our school ones are designed in drawings.
Wow, you know, there's so much capability, and as we mentioned earlier, well, I think you mentioned actually, you know, this is the underrated tool of Google. This is so powerful, and you know, I was under the impression for a long time, you know, I've been using slides to do all my posters and all that sort of stuff because that was, you know, the underrated tool for a while. But I think this has crept up behind it and actually overtaken it in some respects as well.
It's a little sleeping giant, you know.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to make sure I take a look at this a bit. You know, make sure I make some new ones on here now, seeing the capabilities of what's possible now.
So, do we want to have a little look at how we can play around with green screens then?
I think we should.
Yeah. Okay.
What people would like.
So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new document. Again, just create a new drawing. All right. Now, I've already got some images ready to go. So, I'm just going to use insert image and upload from my computer, and I'm going to bring in from my desktop a cinema room. Okay, so here's a cinema room. It's a lot like my house, honestly. Okay, I'm just going to resize that. There we go. It's nothing like Ben's bus. So I'm just going to resize that so the canvas is exactly the same size. Okay, now we can see here we've got some kind of like Bigfoot movie going on or whatever. And what I'd love to be able to do is to use this in something like WeVideo or iMovie or somewhere like that to be able to do some green screen tricks. So to make this green screen, I can come up here to line and select the polyline tool. Okay, so I come to polyline and I can zoom in a little bit if I want to make it easier. I can go to the corner of the screen and I start drawing. And I just click at each corner. A little bit further there, click here and click there. And as soon as I click finish, it goes blue. Okay, now it's gone blue there. That's not a lot of good to me at the moment, but because I've got my eyedropper tool, I can now say, right, great, let's find out what a green screen color is. And if I even don't know, I can just type in green screen and I can see all of these different examples, and then I use my eyedropper to pick a color from a web page, and I quite like that one. So I'm going to go up here, and it's a lime green, and that's almost perfect. Doesn't have to be exact. And then you can go back to the title drawing, click on that image that square we've created, custom, copy the hex code into there, and then OK. You can change the edge to transparent if you like. And that's now usable as a green screen. So if we call that indoor cinema, okay, I'm just going to download that as a JPEG, okay, and I'm going to jump into my other account just to get onto my Wii video. Here we go. And all I need to do now in Wii video is let it join up first of all. There we go. I'm going to come to media and I'm going to bring that picture in when it lets me. So I'm going to come to media. I'm going to import that image that I've just created, indoor cinema. It starts bringing it in for me. I don't have to wait for it to happen. I can just clear that and go away. Now I can go into my dashboard. I can go to video and start recording. That's fine. That's a bit odd. Something funny going on there. Let's just start again. Here we go.
I'll turn it off, turn it back on again.
Yeah. Okay. And it doesn't matter where I do it. I'm just going to go into here and start editing. So I've now got my green screen. When you're working in something like Wii Video, your green screen is going to be layered on top of whatever you want to show behind it. Okay. So from this point of view, you don't want your green screen in the video channel 1. So we put it into video channel 2 by just dragging it. And then I can increase the length of it. So that's running for like sort of 20 seconds there. I can double click on it. I can come up to my little head and shoulders icon here, pick up my eyedropper, select the color I want to disappear, and it disappears. But what I can also do is I can also scale up a little bit. So if I want my screen to be a little bit bigger, I can do something like that. So it looks like I'm sat in the cinema room. Click Save My Changes. And then I want something underneath here. So I can either record something or I can use some of the stock media. So in this case, we've got some stock media. Let's go for, I don't know, see what's in here. Fucking Bronco or something maybe. Bull riding, anything in the way of videos. Not particularly. So I'm going to search for videos. And let's do cowboys. Why not? See what comes up. There's lots of bits and pieces here. So we've got rodeo cowboys. Something about 20 seconds, spot on. I'm going to drag that in there. And what we'll see is as I move this along, you see it appears on screen. If I want that to be a little bit smaller so that more of the image is on screen, I can just size it down and move it up a little bit just so that I get more of that image on. There we go. Save it like that. And then when I play the video, then I've got my video playing on my big TV.
Look at that.
And what a powerful way of doing things, okay? So if you're recording videos for lessons, so much better to have the kids feeling like they're sat there in a cinema room watching it than just being a YouTube video just dumped on the screen for them or whatever, okay? So you've got the option to play around with this a lot. You can use masked images and stock image, or you can put yourself on there. So with Wii Video, you can just say, okay, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to record my own media. I'm going to go here and record my webcam. I'm going to choose face cam and I'm going to start recording. It counts me in. Oh my God, how good was EdTech Smackdown? Make sure you check out Snackdown in December. Okay, save it. I can preview it and record it again. save it in there. Because it's green screen, I can even green screen that. But I can't put anything below there in that audio channel. So I create a third video channel and just move everything up. And now I can double click this, green screen that, resize it so that I'm happy that I'm on screen. Nobody else is happy, but I am. Okay, save that. And then I can put something else behind me. So I can go to backgrounds and I can put myself a nice yellow aurora in the background here. Just shrink it down. And then when we play it, what we then get is that. Oh my God, how good was Ed Tech Smackdown? Make sure you check out Smackdown in December. So really, really easy to do. And all we've done is basically into Google Drawings, take an image and polyline it. And it doesn't even have to be a square image, because you could, for example, just grab something else like, and I've got one more example ready to go. I'm just going to upload it and find it. Here we've got a spaceship screen. So we can just expand that. It doesn't even matter if we go over the edge of the page, because when we download it, anything that's off the canvas won't come with it. Just pick up that polyline tool. And again, you can just kind of go roughly around the edge really easily. Create yourself your own little version there. And then do exactly the same. And you can kind of cut bits off if you want or not. It's just missed it. There we go. It's just missed the edge there, which is slightly annoying. But you get the idea. You can just go around the edge really quickly. And if you wanted to, you could just chop it all off and do it that way if you wanted to be really quick with it. You know, this is seconds of work. And then up to your polyline tool, get your chroma key, Command C, over here, custom, drop it in, and there you go. Download it as a PDF, as a PNG or a JPEG, upload it into WeVideo, and then we'll make that section of the window clear. Okay?
That is so amazing. You know, I'm sure everyone else in the chat is as baffled as I am that, you know, you can do it so simply. You know, that is something that doesn't take a long time, and a lot of people would think you need the specialist programs to do it. But again, Google Drawings is the sleeping giant, and it's you know, it's got the possibilities to do all these cool, amazing things. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Darren. And
that's all right.
You're about to you answer the question in chat, I suppose, that Emma's just put in.
You can embed into slides and you can embed into drawings as well. The reason I've gone into docs is because I was desperate to show you that one that didn't work. So if I go to, say for example, this is a letter that I've got to sign. Okay. If I've got a touchscreen device, it's even easier. I can go to Insert Drawing, New, pick up the squiggly line, and I can use my mouse or my stylus or my finger to do my signature. I can make it a bit thicker if I want to, and then I can save it and add it in as a digital image. So I can electronically sign things really easily, both and in slides. So if you want to sign certificates, you can just do that directly and import them in. Okay, so you can import it into there. One of the other cool things as well, if you go Insert Drawing and you go here, you might, for example, want to add into here an image. So you might choose an image. It might be, for example, the outdoor cinema. You drop this in. Because it's in drawings, you can make it so the students can annotate it. So we can drop that in. And you can say here, for students, for example, click on the image and label the animals, for argument's sake, okay? And then the students in their own copy would click on here and they click edit, it opens up the drawing, and then they can, for example, grab themselves like an arrow, for example, and say, yeah, brilliant, that is, for example, or a call out or whatever, that is baby Simba and this is Mufasa and all that kind of thing. Then they save and close, and their saved version stays in the document. So actually, you're getting them drawing, even if they aren't able to draw. So it's great for labeling things, for showing their understanding of something, because you can give them, you know, a diagram of a cell and say label the different parts of the cell. And that could be a drag and drop, or it could be literally they do it for themselves, or you can even differentiate it and give some a drag and drop and others one they have to do for their own. Okay.
So, yeah, really good. It shows you can have students being creative on this as well. It's not just us as have fun with it. You know, students can get involved in the fun and the action by doing this sort of thing, put it into a doc and get them to edit themselves. So, you know, this is, it's been really, really good. Really good talk.
It doesn't have to be big either. You can have that document really small
and have loads.
When they click on the edit, they get the full size version.
Yeah, and you could have multiple images on the same screen if you wanted to as well. So being collated as well, which is really nice.
And of course, when you do it through Google Classroom, they all get their own copy. So everybody's got their own copy. Really good.
Yeah, fantastic. So we have got a few questions before we start. That's
easy for you to say.
So I'm hoping I haven't cut. That's it. Cheers, mate. I'm just going to ask these questions before we go into plug that. So Barbara's got a question here asking if you can quickly review how to make the outline the same as another image. So I presume that means in terms of video.
Yep, no problem. So let's use that poster one that we had. Okay. So here we've got a white line, a white line, a white line. Let's get rid of that. Let's just bring in another shape. Let's bring in this right angle triangle, for example. And that clearly hasn't got a white outline on it. Okay. And it's different color to the one up here. So I might say, for example, actually, I'd like a white outline around this one. And I'd like it to be quite thick. So there we go. If I click here, notice I get a little preview of the fact that it's hyperlinked. So it shows you what it's hyperlinked to. Okay. If I click here, click on this little paint format roller, and then click down here, it automatically adopts the same setting. Okay. Doesn't bring the hyperlink with it, so you don't have to worry about that, but it will adopt exactly the same setting as you had up there. It's even picked up the little shadowing that we had, so it's consistent across the two. Okay.
Really cool.
That answers that one.
Yeah, we've got. You've already answered Emma's question there. We've had lots of positivity from people in the chat here, for about going through that. But in particular, that last bit about the green screening option. So that's
brilliant.
Really nice to see that people are picking up on that, and hopefully they'll go away and create some of their own. And maybe you could.
I had a student who created a green screen using WeVideo, and unfortunately, I haven't got access to it in a minute. Where he took the front of an Audi Stobart truck and he made the front windscreen green screen, and then had a disco going in the back of the basically the cab of the truck, because he used some stop.
That is
just really creative ideas, you know.
I like that a lot. I'm going to give that a go myself. Not with me bus, obviously, because I drive a bus.
No. You keep your eyes on the road when you're driving the bus, Ben.
That's it, yeah. But it's nice to see all the positivity in the chat. And if you guys create any of your own, feel free to tag us on Twitter with our handles that are scrolling at the bottom now, or the short and sweet Twitter as well. So sweet, short, and you can follow us on Twitter. Tag us in them so we can see all your amazing creations as well. Yeah. So we've got a really good session lined up next week, Darren, I believe. I don't know if you've heard about it or anything about it, maybe.
Well, it's another one for the creative people amongst us. We're very, very excited to be able to say next week we've got Paula joining us, who many people will know from Slides Mania fame. Paula comes up with some absolutely incredible slide templates that I don't even know where the ideas come from. But you've probably seen them. Fantastic slide templates, but also things like, app creations and digital filing cabinets and all sorts of various different things, all through Google Slides. So Paula's going to be joining us to kind of deconstruct one of her templates and answer any questions that people have got as well. So we can see the kind of creative process behind that. And I think that's going to be really exciting.
I'm looking forward to it personally.
Yeah.
I've used a lot of her templates, and to see how they're going to be constructed is going to be amazing. So I'm personally excited for that, and I hope you guys are as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us, guys. Like we said, do drop us a message on Twitter if you've got further questions and things like that. I don't know about you, Ben, but I've got to go off to Florida in 20 minutes. So I better get down to passport control, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think you probably should, mate. Grab a beer on the way through with you for me as well.
If you're paying, I will do. But thanks again for joining us, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Take care, all.
Yeah. Take care. See you later.